my fabulous people. This is Melanie Warren, also known as Coach Mel. And so today I just want to encourage you on your destiny. You know, your mess could lead you to a strong message of destiny. So I just want to tell you a story about somebody. It's a messy story. Picture this. Picture this. So in the Bible, there was a situation. And when I say situation, it was a situation. It was messy. Everybody say messy. Messy. So you get married. This lovely lady, she gets married. And so her husband was not good. Say not good. And he was doing all types of bad things. And so God was not pleased with what her husband was doing. So God decided to kill her husband. This is her first husband. So according to Jewish law, if the husband dies and he has brothers, his brother, his next brother in line, has to marry the widow. So, and then if that brother has children, the children wouldn't be considered his. They will actually be considered his brothers, his heirs. So this particular lady, her name is Tamar, say Tamar. She ends up having, her father-in-law ends up giving her to his next son. So his next son was fit to be tired. He did not want to have children with her because he was like, if her children is going to be my brothers, I don't want that. But needless to say, so God was not pleased with that. So anyways, he ends up having sexual relationship with her. Okay, he still ends up having sex. However, before he ends up, when he's about to ejaculate, he ends up withdrawing out. So his semen is wasted. Now, if you know about the word and about wasting the semen, that did not make God very happy at all. God does not like the semen to be wasted in the word. So God was not pleased with that. So he ends up killing him. So his father is like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Something is wrong with this woman because my first son ends up dying and then my second son ends up dying and he had a third one. So he felt as though Tamar was the one that was, something is wrong with her. She's the one that is killing my boys. You know, there is no way. So he even said to her, but he said to her, he knows Jewish law, and he said to her, well, when my son, which is his Selah, gets a little bit older, then I will just save him for you, because he was going to uphold that law. But however, in the back of his mind, he was like, there is no way I'm about to give my last son to this woman, because she's going to kill. She's going to kill him too. So he says to her, go back to your father's house, stay there until my son gets of age. Now when my son gets of age, then I will make arrangements for you all to get married, and you can try to continue the legacy of the family. So when he does this now, he realized Tamar is still kind of like, she starts dressing into widow's clothing, because now she's mourning. She's mourning. She's in a state of depression. She's in a state of frustration. She's in a confusion. So she wore her clothing. She wore those bondage, that boundary, day in and day out, until one day she got a message. She got a message. She got a message. She got a message. Say message. She got a message. So she got this message, and she hears that her father-in-law, okay, now I want you to listen to this part. Her father-in-law, his wife ends up dying. So he's mourning, you know, he's feeling bad, whatever the case may be. So he ends up preparing for a trip. So he's preparing for a trip to go and get his sheep's shaved. Don't know why, whatever the case may be, that's not even important. So he ends up preparing for this trip to go and get his sheep's shaved. So Tamar gets the word that her father-in-law is going to be traveling. He's going to Timna. So he's going to be traveling. So she gets this, it's like she gets this urge. She's just like, wait a minute. And then she also realized, he's traveling, what's going on? That his third son is grown now. He is of age to get married. Okay, so he's of age to get married. So she realized that he's of age to get married, and she's not hearing anything. She's like, okay, by this time I've been faithful in my father's house. I've been helping everybody. I'm getting everybody together and stuff like that. What's supposed to happen to me? This is where my destiny is. This is my purpose, not just to stay in my father's house and take care of everybody else. I don't think so. So Tamar, something must have rose up in her where she was like, you know what? I'm going to have to do something. So she demises a plan where she's going to pretend to be a prostitute. So that means she's taking off all her widow clothing. Okay, she takes off her widow clothes. She dresses as a prostitute. She covers her face. She gets to the place where she knows Judea. Okay, her father-in-law was going to pass. Okay, because she's like, this legacy, this hair is going to keep on. My destiny is not just to be in my father's house and take care of everybody else. So she waits at the side of the road. She's waiting. She's covered up. You know, I'm sure she's dressed in a way where she's a prostitute. How they look then, who knows? So she knows her father-in-law is going to pass this point. She's going to trap him. So he passes and he kind of looks, you know, amen. He looks and he proposes to her and he says to her, come on, let me have sex with you. You know, let's have sex. So she says, how much you going to pay me? And he says, I'm going to give you a young goat. She says, okay, fine. I'm good with that deal. But she says, before we have sex, I need to know that you're going to be good on your word. I need to know this. So she says, you need to give me something. So he's like, what do you want now? So he says, I want your walking stick. Okay, so she gets a stick. I want your string. I want your signet. So everything, because at that time, during those times, everybody had a special symbol, things that represented you. Okay, so if they went to Timbuktu, whatever their case may be, somebody would know that, oh, that is Jacob's stick, or that is Sean's stick, that is Karen's stick. They know that this stick belongs to Jacob. Okay, but they knew that this stick belonged to Judea. All right, so she says, okay, just give me that. So he gave all those things. He's ready now. He's manning up now. He's just like, he's ready to go handle his business. So he ends up having sex with her. All right, so they have sex. He goes his way. She goes back home. She goes back home and she puts on her widow clothes. So she puts on her widow clothes. She's back into her team. She's back in her father's house. And she's just like, okay, the do is done now. The do is done. The do is done. The do is done. Say the do is done. So now she goes home, and she's at home, and then words on the street is that Tamar is pregnant. Tamar is pregnant. Tamar is pregnant. What? She's pregnant. She's pregnant. How could this be? My son. I didn't even give her my son. You know, so. Judea hears this, so he's angry now. He's like, go get her, because we're about to burn this girl. We're about to set her on fire. We're going to kill her because now she has totally demised my household. She's supposed to wait for my son, which he was not going to give her in the first place, and she knew this. So they go, his friends go and get her, drag her out the house. She's probably pulling this scream like, where? She said, before you take me out there, I have to show you something. She said, the man that got me pregnant, these things belong to him. These things belong to him. So when they grabbed him and she showed him these things, he was like, oh my God. They were like, this is Jacob. This is Judea's coming. This is Judah's walking stick. This is his insignia. This is his stuff. He got her pregnant. And so he realizes that he's done her wrong. He says to her, you know what? You are more honorable than me, because you knew I was going to give you my last son. You knew I wasn't. And so he was almost apologetic to her. He felt remorseful. Even though she set him up, he felt remorseful because he knew he did her wrong. Needless to say, she ends up not having one child, but two. God gave her double for her trouble. For the first husband, the second husband. So now her mess has become a message. Her destiny was not just to be in her father's house. Her destiny was to develop a linkage of warriors, of strong, mighty men. Her linkage, even though her act was dangerous, it was also courageous. Because she knew deep down in her heart, it was not just for her to just be in her father's house to take care of everybody and everybody gets their life and live their lives with him. She knew that there was something more for her. She knew she was supposed to be a mother. She knew she was supposed to have children. She knew this. So I say this to you. What do you know? What do you know about yourself? In spite of your mess is part of your message. And sometimes the mess may be so messy, you think about there is no way that this can turn out for good. But God says, what the enemy meant for bad, God will turn it out for good. And so because of that, when you read in Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 and 3, you realize that Tamar is mentioned as part of the family lineage of Jesus. Her act, as I said, it was dangerous, but it was courageous. So I say this to you. Don't allow your mess to determine your message, your destiny. Because your destiny still can be great. Your destiny, it is great. And you speak those things as though they were. God can restore, God can renew and strengthen you. If your desire is to be more than where you are right now, then you fight for that. Don't give up. Press on. Your mess is your message of restoration. I want you to repeat that. My mess is my message for restoration. Thank you for watching. This is Melanie Warren, also known as Coach Mel, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. And remember this, pray, plan, and believe, because God is still in the business of doing miracles. God bless.